I think we would both agree there are certain things that have been introduced in the culture that have attacked this idea of discipline. And I mean, one of them that got popular, like probably when I was in college, was YOLO, you only live once, which means you need to indulge yourself or enjoy yourself now because you don't know how long you're going to be around.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put pleasure at the forefront, not think about the long term.
Well, sadly, I think you're correct. I think part of our culture is instant coffee, microwave dinners, something quick. I don't want to wait.
Yeah.
I don't have patience for that. And I think, that mentality goes way back centuries before Christ. You only go around once. So grab all the pleasure that you can because you're going to be dead for a long time. So eat, drink today because tomorrow we got.
Yeah.
And so the emphasis now is not on more work. It's fun, pleasure, excitement. Do what you want.
Yeah.
Work as little as necessary to pay your bills, but put your emphasis on fun, pleasure.
So we know that's wrong, but here's the thing, at least in my experience, a lot of the things that are going around in the culture that I hear the most about discipline are actually from the world. I don't hear as much talk about discipline or, Christians probably wouldn't use the term self-mastery, but in Genesis, it's, master sin.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is this idea of mastery, although it's not prevalent in Scripture. But when I look for all that kind of, philosophy, theology about discipline, I hear it mainly from the world. I don't hear it as much from the church.
I think that's really sad. And I think the church is doing us a bit of harm here. And as I've maintained before, I did not learn perseverance, nor did I learn discipline from the Christian church. And I was in wonderful Christian churches growing up, and I went to a 4-year Christian college. I never heard a word about discipline or perseverance. I went to a wonderful seminary. I cannot remember ever a lecture, a devotion, a chapel message on discipline and perseverance. I learned both of those from the ungodly men in the United States Marine Corps. They were disciplined. They persevered the rigors of military danger and combat. They were real men. Now, I should have learned discipline and perseverance from the Christian church, but I didn't. And I'm often asked, Dr. Sauer, do you see any difference in the students now than from when you first started? And I said, oh, yes, there's a huge difference. I say one big difference in Moody, and that is when I joined the faculty in 1987, the students were much more disciplined than they are now. One day I was in the student dining hall eating lunch by myself. At the end of the table was one of our custodians. And he's in charge of the rooms, making sure the rooms are clean and swept and orderly and everything's as it should be. And he had a student sitting across, and the student asked him the same question I'm asked. Have you found any difference between students now and when you first started? And it's like the words came out of my mouth. He said, yes, I found students less disciplined now than when I started 20 years ago. Well, when he finished his conversation with the student, I moved down my tray down there. And I said, why do you say that? I said, I feel the same way. Why do you say that? And he said, well, I've got students working for me. Sometimes they fail to show up. Other times they show up, but they're an hour late. I have them clean the classroom. I go and check it. It's half clean. I had to bring them back in and say, you didn't do a good job. And I finish it, clean the rest of the classroom too. And he said, I just find them lazier now than they were when I started.
Do you wonder if any of that, and this could be going off topic, but do you think some of that is a lack of maybe consequences? Maybe the consequences used to be more, in people's faces?
Yeah, I think so. In fact, we're hearing now in society that incompetence is promoted.
Yeah.
And it's amazing the number of people say, in political office who are incompetent. They're bad leaders. They can make a mess of our economy. They make a mess of the policies that they pass. And so I just think that comes from bad leadership.
It's tolerated.
I'm afraid it is.
Yeah.